My name is Elena, and if you look at the calendar, it says I have walked this earth for 99 years. You might think you know what to expect as you grow older, but there are unpleasant truths that no one talks about, realities that catch you off guard even in the most ordinary moments. I was once a vibrant woman, always on the go, someone who loved spending time with friends, traveling, and staying active. But recently, I have found myself facing unexpected realities that I never imagined would affect me. Aging does not come with a manual, and whether it is changes in your body, your relationships, or even your mindset, these adjustments can be overwhelming. Today, I want to whisper these truths to you, not to scare you, but because knowing them is the only way to navigate these challenges with grace. It starts with the mind in the most awkward of ways. Just the other day, I bumped into a neighbor at the grocery store, a woman I have known for years and had many conversations with. Yet I stood there frozen because I absolutely could not remember her name. It was embarrassing and deeply frustrating, making me feel like I was losing my touch, but I have come to accept that forgetting names and important details is a common part of aging that can happen to anyone. I used to beat myself up over these lapses, but now I use simple strategies to manage them, like writing down names or key details about the people I meet immediately after I see them. I even set reminders on my phone so that a quick glance at my notes can refresh my memory before I see someone again, creating a system that helps me stay on top of things without feeling overwhelmed. I have learned that it is not about being perfect, it is about being proactive, and if I forget, I am no longer afraid to ask for a name again, as most people understand. Beyond the fading names, there is a heaviness that settles into the bones. I recently noticed something that took me by surprise. I was getting tired much faster, even after doing simple tasks like making lunch or walking around the house. What used to be second nature now feels like a huge effort, and it leaves me feeling frustrated, but I know that sudden exhaustion is a reality many seniors face. To survive the day, I have had to learn to pace myself, breaking up my tasks throughout the day so I am not trying to do everything at once. I spread out my chores and I do not hesitate to take breaks, because resting for just a few minutes can help recharge my energy levels. I also force myself to stay hydrated, as dehydration contributes to fatigue, and I focus on eating small, balanced meals to avoid the crash that follows large ones. Above all, I listen to my body. If it tells me I need a nap or simply to sit and relax, I honor that need, knowing it will help me feel better in the long run. It is a strange irony that while my energy fades, my body seems to expand. My weight has been creeping up recently, which is unsettling because I have maintained the same level of activity, yet the numbers on the scale rise. It is frustrating, but I know I am not alone, as our metabolism naturally slows down as we age, making it easier to gain weight, especially around the midsection. I have had to adapt to my body's changing needs, understanding that I require fewer calories now, so being mindful of portion sizes makes a big difference. I focus on nutrient-dense foods like fruits, vegetables, lean proteins, and whole grains, trying to reduce processed foods that do me no favors. I still make an effort to move my body daily, even if it is just a brisk walk for 20 minutes to maintain muscle mass and keep my metabolism active, because finding what works for my body now is more important than striving for the perfection of my youth. Then there is the calendar, which looks nothing like the social diary of my 20s. Lately, I have found myself visiting the doctor more often than ever, and it seems like every month brings a new appointment, whether for routine checkups, blood tests, or managing minor issues. It can feel like my whole life revolves around health visits, and trying to keep track of it all is overwhelming. However, I try to remind myself that these frequent doctor visits are actually a good sign, proof that I am staying proactive about my health to catch potential issues before they become serious. Regular screenings for blood pressure and cholesterol help ensure I am on top of things, because it is far better to find something early than to ignore it. To keep my sanity, I have created a health calendar where I write down all my appointments and set reminders so I don't forget, and I keep a medical journal to track my symptoms and questions. This helps me stay organized and feel more in control, transforming these stressful visits into a tool that helps me avoid bigger issues down the road. Another change that has quietly crept into my life concerns my beloved library. I have always loved reading, finding comfort and adventure in the pages of a good book, but recently I found it surprisingly difficult to concentrate on stories the way I used to. What was once an effortless and enjoyable activity now feels challenging. After only a few minutes, I find myself distracted, my mind wandering, unable to maintain the focus required to follow the narrative. It is a frustrating realization when your mind does not feel as sharp as it once did. But I have learned that this decline in memory and focus is a common experience for many of us as we age. Instead of giving up on my intellectual passions, I have taken steps to keep my brain active by engaging in activities that stimulate my mind, such as puzzles, word games, and crossword challenges that force me to think critically. I still read, but now I break it into shorter sessions to avoid fatigue, and I have even dabbled in learning new things, like the basics of a new language, because keeping the brain engaged strengthens neural connections and improves concentration over time. It is not about reading a novel in one sitting anymore. It is about keeping the gears turning, ensuring that my mind remains as agile as possible. As the years accumulate, the silence in my home seems to grow louder. Time has a way of thinning out our social circles. Many of my close friends have moved away to be closer to their children, or sadly have passed on, leaving a void that is difficult to fill. I deeply miss the days when we would gather for coffee or take long afternoon walks together, and there are moments now when I feel a profound sense of isolation that is hard to shake. Loneliness can creep in when you least expect it, especially as mobility becomes more limited, but I have realized that staying socially active is crucial for my emotional health. To combat this, I have had to be brave and reach out to find new opportunities for connection, looking for local senior groups and community events that cater to my interests, such as book clubs or gardening groups. I have even begun exploring online communities where I can chat with others who share my hobbies, because even small, consistent interactions can make a significant difference in reducing feelings of isolation. It is not about replacing the old friends, for they are irreplaceable, but about continuing to build meaningful relationships that bring light into my days. The physical world also presents new hurdles that I never anticipated. I was always an active person, but recently I noticed that simple activities like walking around the block or bending down to tie my shoes have become unexpectedly difficult. These tasks, which once seemed effortless, now feel like major challenges due to a natural decline in mobility, which can be discouraging. However, I refuse to let stiffness dictate my life. I have learned that the best way to stay flexible is through regular stretching and strength exercises. Even just a few minutes a day of gentle stretches helps maintain flexibility in my joints and muscles. I focus on low-impact exercises like walking or yoga, which are easy on my joints but effective, and I try to incorporate strength training to support my balance and posture. I do not push myself too hard, but I prioritize consistency, listening to my body and moving it daily to ensure I can still navigate the world comfortably. Then there are the nights which have become long and often restless. I have always valued my sleep, but recently I have found it harder to fall asleep and stay asleep through the night. I often wake up in the middle of the darkness and struggle to drift back off, which leaves me feeling exhausted the next day. It turns out that changes in hormones, stress, and physical discomfort often disrupt sleep as we age. But I have found strategies to improve the quality of my rest. I have established a strict bedtime routine, going to bed and waking up at the same time each day to regulate my body's internal clock. And I am very careful to limit my caffeine intake in the afternoon. I also practice relaxation techniques before bed, such as deep breathing or gentle stretches to calm my mind, and I ensure my bedroom is a cool, dark, and quiet environment. By treating sleep as a discipline rather than a given, I have managed to reclaim some of the rest my body desperately needs. Perhaps one of the most disorienting aspects of aging is how my perception of the world has shifted. I have always prided myself on my sharp senses, but recently I have had to face the reality that my vision and hearing are not what they used to be. I now wear glasses to read, and even with them, I sometimes struggle to follow conversations in noisy environments, which can make me feel disconnected or left out in social situations. It is easy to feel embarrassed, but I have learned that there is no shame in using assistive devices. They are designed to help us live life to the fullest. I stay on top of regular eye and hearing exams to catch problems early, and I have accepted that hearing aids and updated prescriptions are simply tools that allow me to stay engaged with the people I love. Taking action early has helped preserve my quality of life, preventing the isolation that often comes when we withdraw because we cannot see or hear clearly. There are also days when the weather seems to turn against me in ways I never expected. I used to enjoy sunny afternoons and crisp winter walks, but lately extreme temperatures feel unbearable, forcing me to dress in layers and diligently adjust my home environment with fans or blankets just to stay comfortable. Alongside this physical sensitivity, I have noticed a surprising shift in my mood. Minor inconveniences that I would have once ignored now sometimes spark a sudden irritability. I have learned learned that this shorter temper is a common result of biological changes, so I now practice deep breathing and focus on gratitude to keep my emotions in check. Perhaps the most difficult adjustment, however, has been the loss of total independence. I used to do everything on my own, but now I must swallow my pride and ask for help with heavy groceries or household chores. It was a hard pill to swallow, yet I have realized that accepting assistance is not a weakness. It is a strategy that allows me to reserve my energy for the things I love. These are the unpleasant truths of aging that no one whispers to you, but armed with patience and these solutions, we can still live a life full of grace and purpose.